welcome to the deep dive. You know the image, right? Instantly recognizable.
Oh, yeah.
That hammer.
Yeah.
Mjölnir. It just screams, Thor, power, thunder god.
It really does. It's become this massive icon.
Exactly. More than just a weapon. But, how did it come about? We've been digging into the sources, and they tell this really specific, surprisingly dramatic story about its creation.
It's fantastic. Forget just the highlights. This is about, tricky gods, incredible dwarven smiths, and some seriously high-stakes bets.
High stakes is right. And it all kicks off, maybe unsurprisingly, with a bit of divine mischief.
A lot of mischief, actually. It pulls back the curtain, on the relationships, the rivalries in Norse myth. And yeah, it starts with the god of mischief himself.
Loki. Always Loki. Our sources are pretty clear. The whole reason this chain of events starts is Loki just doing what Loki does, causing chaos.
Stirring the pot, yeah. Usually at someone else's expense. And this time, he picked, let's just say, the wrong target. Or rather, the wrong person's wife.
Thor's wife.
Exactly. And she was famous, really famous for her hair. This incredible, long, golden hair. The sources get quite poetic, describing it like waves of golden grain or spun sunlight.
Something Thor absolutely treasured.
Deeply. And Loki just, for a prank, cuts it all off, snip, snip, gone.
Wow. Just imagine Thor finding out. The sources paint a picture of pure fury, like volcanic rage.
Yeah. Shaking with anger, ready to break every bone in Loki's body. Loki was suddenly in serious, serious trouble. He needed to fix this, and fast.
His survival instinct must have kicked in.
Instantly. Quick thinking. He promises Thor, basically, okay, calm down, I'll fix it. I'll get Sif new hair, even better hair, crafted by the dwarves, the best smiths there are.
Pretty tall order, promising better than legendary hair.
Definitely. But Loki knew the dwarves were the only ones who could even possibly pull it off.
So off he goes. Down to Svartalfheim, the realm of the dwarves. These guys aren't just skilled, they're like the absolute masters of making things in this world.
The best. He finds these brothers. The sons of Ivaldi is one name we see in the sources, though it varies a bit.
And he gives them the challenge. Make golden hair for Sif. Not just golden, but like magical hair that will actually fuse with her head and grow.
Yeah, alive, basically. And these brothers, they're good, unbelievably good. They don't just make the hair.
They go above and beyond.
Totally. While they're crafting this amazing hair described as fine as spider silk but strong as steel, they also make two other incredible items.
Right, this is the first set of treasures. They create Mjölnir.
Yep. Mjölnir, the spear for Odin. It's magic. It never misses its target. Ever.
And for Freyr?
The ship, Skidbladnir. Amazing thing. It can sail anywhere, always has a favorable wind. And the kicker, it can be folded up small enough to fit in your pocket.
Folded up like cloth. Incredible.
Truly remarkable gifts. Loki's pretty pleased now, right? He thinks, okay, this should definitely get Thor off my back.
But this is Loki. Just satisfying Thor isn't enough.
Never enough. He sees a chance here, a chance for more glory, more bragging rights, to puff himself up.
So he seeks out another pair of dwarf smiths.
Right. The brothers Sindri and Brokkr, sometimes called Eitri and Brokkr. The names shift a bit in the telling.
And Loki, feeling pretty confident with the Ivaldi treasures.
Oh, he's downright arrogant. He starts boasting like crazy about how amazing the first set of gifts are, how no one, especially not Sindri and Brokkr, could possibly make anything better.
He's poking the bear. Or the dwarves.
Exactly. And Brokkr, hearing this, gets his pride ruffled. He's proud of his work, his brother Sindri's skill. So he takes Loki up on a ridiculous wager.
The wager. This is key.
Loki bets his own head.
His head. Seriously.
His actual head. He bets his head that Sindri and Brokkr cannot forge 3 treasures superior to the ones the Ivaldi sons made.
That's incredibly high stakes for Loki. What makes the dwarves agree? It can't just be wanting Loki's head, surely.
Well, maybe a little bit, but the sources stress it's mainly honor, it's pride in their craft, proving they are the best, it's a challenge to their mastery. Loki's arrogance forced their hand, really.
Okay, so the contest is on. Sindri and Brokkr fire up their forge. Deep underground, intense heat. Sindri works the metal, Brokkr works the bellows. Crucial job keeping that fire perfect.
Absolutely critical. But Loki, he's not just watching. His head's on the line. He needs to sabotage this.
How?
He shapeshifts, turns himself into a fly, a really annoying fly.
Of course he does.
His plan is simple. Cause pain, break Brokkr's concentration, ruin the rhythm of the bellows.
Okay, first item, what are they making?
Sindri puts gold in the forge. He tells Brokkr, okay, keep pumping those bellows. Don't stop no matter what until I take this out. He's making a boar.
And Loki the fly.
Immediately zooms in and stings Brokkr hard on the eyelid.
Ouch. That's got to make you flinch. Did Brokkr stop?
He flinched, all right. The sources say he felt the sharp pain, but somehow, through sheer willpower, focusing on Sindri's command, he kept pumping. Didn't miss a beat.
Incredible focus. And the result?
Perfect. Gullinborsti, the golden boar for Freyr. Its bristles literally glowed, bright enough to light up the darkest night. A masterpiece. Loki's first attempt failed.
Loki must be starting to sweat now. One down, perfectly made despite him. What's next?
Sindri puts more gold in the forge. Since he's making a ring, same instruction to Bronfors. Keep those bellows going. Do not stop.
And Loki tries again. More desperate this time.
Definitely. The fly darts in and stings Brokkr again, but much harder this time, on the neck.
Ugh, the neck. Even worse.
Yeah, the sources say Brokkr cried out in pain. His hands might have even wavered for a second over the handle. But again, he grits his teeth, fights through it, keeps the bellows moving steadily.
He kept going. Amazing endurance. So the ring
comes out perfect, too. No flaws. This is Draupnir, the golden arm ring for Odin, and its magic is pretty potent. Every 9th night, 8 identical gold rings just drip off it, a symbol of endless wealth.
2 for 2 for the dwarves. Loki's interference is doing nothing so far.
He must be panicking now. Which brings us to the third item, the big one.
The one we're really focused on today.
Exactly. Sindri puts iron in the forge this time, a big chunk of it. He tells Brokkr, this is it, our greatest work, a hammer, power like thunder. And the instruction is the most critical yet. Brokkr, whatever happens, do not stop pumping. Not for an instant.
This is Loki's last chance. His head is literally on the chopping block if his hammer comes out perfect.
He knows it. He goes all out. The fly dives in and stings Brokkr with everything it has. Right between the eyes, on the forehead.
Oh, that's vicious.
Incredibly so. The sources are quite graphic. The sting is so deep. Blood immediately starts pouring down into Brokkr's eyes, blinding him.
Blinding him? He can't see. What does he do?
This time it's just too much. The blinding blood, the intense pain. For just a fraction of a second, Brokkr instinctively lifts his hand from the bellows to swipe the blood away. Just a tiny pause.
But enough. Enough to break the rhythm, affect the heat.
Precisely. That tiny moment where the bellows stop, the fire dips slightly. That's when Sindri pulls the hammer out. And it's forged. It's undeniably powerful. But that brief interruption, that slight loss of heat at a crucial moment, it left its mark. A flaw.
Oh, the handle.
The handle is short. Noticeably, visibly shorter than it should have been. Some sources even mention maybe a slight discoloration, not quite as perfect as the other items. A direct result of Loki's final, desperate interference.
So the most famous weapon in Norse myth, Thor's hammer, has a manufacturing defect because Loki was being a pest.
Pretty much, yeah. But even with that short handle, Sindri knows what they've made. He declares its powers.
Where are they?
It will hit with force enough to crush mountains. It will never miss its target no matter what you throw it at. Crucially for Thor, it will always fly back to his hand after being thrown. And it can never be broken. Immense power.
They call it Mjölnir, which means the crusher or millstone, something like that.
That's right, names that fit its power. Even with the flaw, it's clearly something extraordinary. Maybe the most powerful weapon created.
Okay, contest over. Both teams head to Asgard. Loki with the first 3 gifts, Sindri and Brokkr with their 3. Time for the judging.
Yep. The gods gather. Odin's there, Freyr, Thor, of course, others too. They're the judges.
Loki goes first.
Shows off his prizes. The hair for Sif, it settles on her head, looks amazing, starts growing, restores her beauty instantly. He gives Gungnir to Odin, who tests its aim perfect. Gives Skidbladnir to Freyr, who marvels at how it folds up.
Impressive stuff, no doubt.
Absolutely. The gods are impressed. Good craftsmanship, useful magic. But then
Sindri and Brokkr step up.
They present Gullinborsti to Freyr, the glowing boar, everyone's amazed. They give Draupnir to Odin, the wing that makes more wings. Odin's clearly pleased with that.
And finally,
Mjölnir.
Yeah. They give it to Thor. The sources say he felt its power immediately, like it was part of him. The gods look it over. They notice the short handle shore. They know about the sabotage. But they also hear its abilities.
Unstoppable force, always returns, can't be broken. Exactly. And this is where you see the gods' priorities. The other gifts. Beautiful, useful, magical, yes. But Mjölnir...
Mjölnir was practical.
Extremely practical. The giants were a huge threat to Asgard, a constant danger. A weapon like this, it wasn't just a treasure, it was essential for survival, for protecting the realm.
So its strategic value outweighed the flaw.
Completely. That power for defense trumped the perfection of the other gifts. The gods deliberated, but the decision was clear. Mjölnir was the greatest treasure. Sindri and Brokkr won the wager.
They won.
Yeah.
Which means Loki owes them his head.
That was the deal. But this is Loki we're talking about. He's not going down without a fight, or rather without some tricky words.
Uh-oh.
As the dwarves step forward, ready to collect, Loki pulls his final trick, a classic piece of legalistic wrangling. He says, wait, you won my head, absolutely, but, he argues, you didn't win my neck.
Oh, come on.
Yep. And he points out, you can't possibly take the head without harming the neck, which wasn't part of the bargain.
The ultimate loophole. How did the dwarves handle that? I'd be furious.
They were furious, absolutely enraged, the sources say. But, technically, Loki had a point. His infuriating wordplay worked. They couldn't take his head.
But they didn't just let him walk away laughing, did they?
Oh, no. They couldn't take the head that made the boastful bet, but they could silence the mouth that spoke the words.
Right. He's sewing.
Brokkr grabbed an awl and some tough thread. Some sources say it was Thor who helped hold Loki down, and they literally sewed Loki's lips shut.
Ouch. A pretty graphic punishment.
A very clear message. There are consequences for your words, for your arrogance, even if you manage to squirm out of the ultimate price. It shut him up for a while anyway. Thor apparently let him remove the stitches later, but lesson learned. Maybe. Temporarily.
So, Mjölnir, born from Mischief, forged through incredible skill-battling interference marked by a flaw, becomes Thor's signature weapon.
And so much more. It's not just for fighting giants, though it does plenty of that. It becomes this powerful symbol of divine authority, protection. Sources say it was used in rituals, like blessing marriages, consecrating things, even on funeral pyres, a tool of order.
And that short handle, Loki's little mark on it, it doesn't really diminish it, does it?
Not at all. In a way, it makes it more iconic. It's a unique identifier, a constant reminder of its chaotic origin story, this instrument of order born from disorder.
It's kind of a testament to the idea that perfection isn't always the point. Power and effectiveness can come even with, or maybe despite, flaws.
Exactly. And you see how much it resonated. People wore little Mjölnir amulets for protection. It was a powerful symbol of Thor's strength, something people wanted to connect with.
So looking back at this whole wild ride from Loki's prank with the hair to the forging contest, the sabotage, the judgment, what are the big takeaways from these sources? What does this story tell us about the world it came from?
Well, first off, it massively highlights the value placed on craftsmanship, skill, and sheer perseverance. You see that in Sindri and Brokkr, right? They push through pain, sabotage everything to create these wonders.
A real contrast to Loki.
Yeah, his arrogance, his deceit. It causes all this, but ultimately he faces consequences, even if he talks his way out of the worst of it. It shows the downsides of unchecked hubris.
And Mjölnir itself, it feels like it embodies that tension in Norse myth, this incredible force for order and protection, but it literally wouldn't exist without Loki's initial act of chaos.
That's a great point. It really captures that balance, or maybe struggle, between creation, destruction, order, and chaos. It also cements the dwarves as the absolute master smiths. No one else could do this.
And it fundamentally changes Thor. It gives him the tool he needs to be Thor the Protector.
Makes him truly fearsome.
So there you have it, Mjölnir. Thor's hammer. Not just some magical object he found. It was forged in fire, competition, sabotage. A masterpiece, yes, but a flawed one, thanks to Loki. It's got this incredibly dramatic, messy, very mythic backstory.
A story that shows even the greatest symbols can have complex, maybe even slightly imperfect beginnings.
Right. And that leads to our final thought for you, something these sources make you wonder about. Consider this. Did that imperfection, that short handle caused by Loki's last-ditch effort, actually detract from Mjölnir? Or did it, maybe, weirdly, add to its legend? Does that visible scar, that reminder of the chaos it overcame during its creation, make the hammer and Thor's bond with it even more potent? A symbol that you can be powerful, you can overcome, even if you're not perfect. Something to think about.